guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Shanike, and in today's videos I'm going to be sharing some meal ideas that I give to my 1-year-old. Just a disclaimer, I'm not a professional. These are just meals that I give to my child, and I'm just sharing them with you guys in case any of you guys are looking for meal ideas for your 1-year-old. I will be sharing 9 meals with you guys, 3 breakfast, 3 lunch, and 3 dinner ideas. Let's get started. So I am going to start off with breakfast, and the first meal that I'm going to make is scrambled egg with spinach, and I'm going to serve that with avocado toast. The first thing that I'm going to do is chop up about a half a cup of spinach, then crack and lightly whisk an egg. Then melt about a 1/4 tablespoon of butter and add the spinach until they're quilted. After the spinach is quilted, add the egg and scramble. I like to season with a little bit of salt and a little bit of oregano. You can use whatever seasonings of choice that you like for your baby. Now that the egg is done, I'm working on the avocado toast. So mash 1 slice of avocado. Then I like to remove the crust from the bread. So I'm going to remove the crust from a slice of bread. Then spread the avocado mixture over the bread and slice it into strips so that their baby can grab that and feed him or herself. If you would like, you could also lightly toast the bread, but I chose not to toast it. I'm going to serve this to my baby with orange slices. And I have to serve directly on his table because he does not like that plate. Next on the menu is carrot muffins. So you're going to lightly whisk 2 eggs in a large bowl. Then pour in 3/4 cups of unsweetened applesauce, a 1/3 cup of maple syrup. You could also use honey, a teaspoon of vanilla, a teaspoon of cinnamon, half a teaspoon of nutmeg. I'm grating fresh ones, but you could also use ground nutmeg if that's what you have. Then add 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 3/4 teaspoons of baking soda, 1 teaspoon of salt, and then whisk that all together until everything is combined. Now add in about 1.5 cups of grated carrot, and I'm just using a spatula to mix that in. You also do not want to overmix this. Add in 1 cup of whole wheat flour or spelt flour, a cup of instant oats, and use the spatula to fold this in as well. Do not overmix as well. Lastly, add in a 1/3 cup of raisins or whatever fruit of your choice. And when that is all done, grease a 12 muffin tray and use an ice cream scoop to transfer the mixture to the muffin tray so that you can get even muffins. Now bake at 350 degrees for 25 minutes and let them cool down before serving. I'm serving with hard-boiled egg and raspberries, and I diced up the muffins into smaller pieces so that my baby can handle it. And these muffins are delicious as well. The entire family could eat them, and you can also serve them for lunch. Next breakfast option is berries and banana oatmeal. Start off by prepping your washed fruits. I'm using a 1/3 banana, 3 strawberries, and 6 raspberries. I have cooked some oatmeal per the package instructions, and I'm just going to add about 3 tablespoons of milk. You could also use water or formula or milk substitute if you're not giving your baby milk. Then add about a tablespoon of applesauce to sweeten. You could skip this step, or you could use maple syrup or honey if you choose to sweeten, because the fruits are sweet. Now top the oatmeal with the fruits. Next, I'm going to top with some peanut butter. So I'm using this Kraft all natural peanut butter. And I just put some in a Ziploc bag and softened it in some hot water. By doing this, I can just drizzle it over the top of my oatmeal. And also, please note that clumps of peanut butter are a choking hazard. So ensure that you soften the peanut butter. And this is what it looks like, a beautiful bowl of healthy oatmeal. And I'm just going to be spoon feeding him with this one because he's not able to feed himself. He was a little bit resistant at first because he haven't had it in a while, but he came around, he enjoyed it. Now we're going to move on to lunch. For today's lunch, I'm going to be making baked chicken thighs and veggie mac and cheese. I started off by putting 3 chicken thighs and a cup of broccoli in a baking pan, and I just seasoned with olive oil, salt, and oregano. And then I use my tongue to stir everything to ensure that it is coated with seasoning and olive oil. After everything is coated, I'm going to cover with foil so that the chicken and the broccoli is soft and bake for about 25 minutes. So while the chicken and the broccoli is baking, I'm going to get started on the macaroni and cheese. And the first thing that I'm going to do is peel and dice 2 carrots. I'm then going to transfer the diced carrots to a saucepan and cover with water. And then boil until the carrots are tender for about 10 minutes. While the carrot is boiling, I'm going to boil the macaroni. I am boiling a cup of macaroni for about 10 minutes, stirring constantly. So now the carrots are tender, so I transferred them to my NutriBullet, and I'm just going to lightly season them with oregano. And then I'm going to blend until smooth in my NutriBullet. You could use whatever blender you have. And just in case you guys are wondering what's going on, I am making the cheese sauce for the macaroni and cheese. Now that the carrots are blended, I'm going to be adding a half a cup of shredded cheese, and I'm just using a mozzarella and cheddar mixture. And then I'm going to add in about a 1/4 tablespoon of unsalted butter. And then blend until everything is combined. It looks so nice and cheesy, and it's also very delicious as well. Now that our creamy carrot cheese sauce is done, we're going to combine with the macaroni. So I'm going to be adding some of the broccoli that we baked earlier to the macaroni, and then I will mix it in with the cheese sauce. This is one of my son's favorite meals, and this is a good way to incorporate veggies into your toddler's meal in a fun way, especially if you have a picky toddler. And then we're going to combine everything using the spatula. And lunch number 1 is all done. We're going to serve it with the chicken thighs, and I just sliced them up with some strawberries so that it's manageable for my son. So just slice the chicken or cut the chicken in a way that is manageable to your child, and cooking it with the foil paper makes it really tender and manageable. Next lunch item that I'm going to make is turkey meatballs, and I'm going to serve that with the macaroni and cheese that we made yesterday. So I'm just going to add half an onion to my NutriBullet, as well as 3 cloves of garlic, and I'm just squashing them to remove the skin and slicing them in half. I'm also going to peel and add 2 carrots to the mixture. Then wash and dry about a cup of spinach and roughly chop and set it aside. Then add 1 egg to the other ingredients in the NutriBullet. And then blend until everything is combined. You could also choose to add in the egg after you blend the other ingredients, and you can also use a food processor as well. Now that that's done, add a pound of turkey into a large bowl. After adding the turkey, season with salt to taste. Then season with about a teaspoon of oregano, a half a teaspoon of onion powder, and a half a teaspoon of garlic powder. Now add in the blended mixture to the turkey, and also add in the chopped spinach. Then mixed until combined using a spatula. Do not overmix, but ensure that everything is blended properly. Now scoop the mixture onto a baking sheet lined with parchment paper. I'm using a tablespoon measuring spoon to do this. You could also use a small ice cream scoop or cookie scoop to do this as well. Just ensure that the mixture is divided evenly so that the meatballs are the same in size. Now I'm just going to use my hands to form the turkey into balls. Then bake at 400 degrees for 25 minutes, and this is what it looks like when they're done. I'm going to serve these with the mac and cheese that we cooked from the day before, and I cut up the meatballs into smaller pieces so that it is manageable for my baby to eat, so you can do that as well. And you can store the leftover meatballs in Ziploc bags or freezer safe containers in the freezer for future use. The next item on the lunch menu is baked butternut squash. I am going to start by scooping the seed out of half a butternut squash and then peel the skin off. Now cut the butternut squash into cubes. Butternut squash can be a little bit challenging to cut sometimes, so I like to cut them into strips and then I cut the strips into smaller pieces. So that's how I usually cut my butternut squash into cubes. Now transfer the butternut squash into a baking pan. Then drizzle with olive oil. You could also use avocado oil for this as well. Next, I'm going to add about a half a teaspoon of nutmeg. I like to use fresh nutmeg that I grate. You could also use ground nutmeg or you could use cinnamon as well. And then the last thing that I'm going to do is cover with foil and bake for about 30 to 35 minutes in a 400 degrees oven. And now it is nice and tender. Please ensure that it's soft so that your baby can handle it. And I served it with the turkey meatball that I made from the day before. And I also added some vanilla yogurt to the butternut squash to add some extra flavor. We're now going to move on to dinner. First dinner item that I'm going to make is sweet potato mash. And I'm going to start off by boiling a half of a sweet potato until it's soft. I am then transferring the boiled sweet potato into a bowl, and then I'm going to add about a quarter tablespoon of butter, about a half a teaspoon of cinnamon, and then I'm going to mash with a fork until it's nice and soft. And I'm going to serve that with the baked chicken thighs that I made previously, some broccoli, and some grated apples. As you guys can see, I'm mixing and matching different items that I'm cooking so that I don't have to cook big meals every single day. Now the second item that I'm going to show you guys for dinner is beef sauce. I'm going to start off by putting some grape tomatoes on a lined baking sheet. I used about 1.5 cups, and I'm going to season with salt and oregano and olive oil. You can use whatever seasonings of your choice. I'm then going to bake that in the oven at 400 degrees for about 15 minutes. While the tomatoes are baking, dice 2 carrots and then dice a half of a white onion. Then chop 2 cloves of garlic. Okay guys, what are some of the items that you like to feed to your toddlers? Please let me know in the comment section below. And are they picky? Next, I'm also going to chop some fresh thyme. I do like the flavor that this adds to the beef. Tomatoes are done now, so it's time to make the sauce. So I'm just going to add the tomatoes as well as all of the juices to my NutriBullet and blend until it's smooth. I'm also going to cook my onions, my carrots, and my thyme in a pan with some olive oil for about 5 minutes, and then I'm going to add some garlic to that in the last minute. When the garlic is fragrant after about 1 minute, I'm going to add a half a pound of ground beef. I'm not going to use the full pound because it's just for my baby. Me and my husband, we don't eat beef, so that's what I'm going to add. When the beef is halfway cooked through, I'm going to add seasonings. So I'm just going to be seasoning to taste with some salt, and I'm also going to season with some oregano, some garlic powder, and some onion powder. You can use whatever seasonings that you like, but these are the ones that I like to add to the ground beef. And then I'm going to stir everything in and then add some frozen green beans to the beef and then let it cook for another 5 minutes until everything is cooked through. Once everything is cooked through, I'm just going to transfer the beef from the pan to a saucepan so that I can slow cook it. So now I am going to add the tomato sauce that we made, and I'm also going to add a cup of water as well and cook that on medium-low for about an hour. I served with the baked butternut squash that we made earlier, some raspberries and some strawberries. Now for the final dinner idea, we're going to make chickpeas pasta with the beef sauce that we made previously. I boiled a cup of chickpeas pasta until they were soft. You can boil your pasta to whatever texture that your baby can handle. So I like to do it softer than the package instructions. After the pasta is done boiling, I removed it from the pot and then I'm going to add my frozen beef. So this is how I store the ground beef. I put them in a freezer safe container in the freezer and then I just thaw that in the pot and then I'll stir in the pasta. To add some extra flavor, I like to sprinkle with a little bit of cheese. I sprinkle some mozzarella cheese on top. You can use whatever cheese of your choice. And this is definitely one of my baby's favorite meals. He loves this one. I really do hope that you guys found this video helpful, and I really do hope that you found some great ideas for your toddlers because I know that they can be picky. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. I will see you in the next video. Bye!